My video that I just made on how to save money when you go to the urgent care, which is one of the big practices of today. You don't see your family doctor that much, you just go to urgent care. And then if you have a real serious issue, you wind up in the emergency room of a hospital. But I just want to go back with a little other history. When I was younger and you went to a doctor and you went in his office, if you had a gash in your arm, a leg, or body, he would actually clean out the wound and he would sew it up. Or in my case, I once saw with my older brother, a doctor took this big Q-tip that was probably a foot long and put it down his sinuses with medicine, and they would wash your eyes out and clean your ears out, and they would put a cast on your hand or your finger, and they did a lot of things that a medic would do in a wartime situation. They would stitch you or lance a wound and clean it with peroxide, whatever. And then what happened was I was working at a hospital years ago, and I knew the CEO. I went to school with him. And he said that, they're starting managed care. And I said, well, what's managed care? And he said, well, that's where an organization has a medical plan and they orchestrate and control and regulate someone's care. So the old system was you went to a doctor, you had some kind of insurance just to see a family practitioner, and then maybe you had hospital insurance. I remember my family had hospital insurance. We didn't have any insurance to see a family doctor. But neither here nor there. So now all of a sudden what happened is you go to your family doctor, and he's like a middleman. He doesn't put a cast on your hands. He won't stitch a wound. He won't put a cast on your fingers. He won't lance a wound. He won't clean out your sinuses. He won't cut an ingrown toenail. He'll send you to a foot doctor or a cardiologist or an ENT, or he'll send you for some fancy tests. So what your family doctor basically became is a middleman. And what happens if you had an immediate problem without an appointment, you would go to an urgent care. And if it was a real serious matter, they would send you to the emergency room for further treatment, because sometimes you need CAT scans and MRIs, and you have to see a specialist. And a lot of times a hospital has a specialist on duty of various kinds so that they can do a diagnostic on you. But neither here nor there, the medical profession has drastically changed. A doctor told me, who was a family doctor, that the young people coming up in the internet era, computers and cell phones, whatever, aren't going to really have a family doctor. They're just going to see whoever's available. And the latest thing is the Skype calls, where a doctor doesn't see you in person and they talk to you face to face on a phone. So it's like a Skype medical call. But of course, they're not looking at you personally. They're not putting a stethoscope to your chest. They're not taking your temperature. They're not taking your pulse, your blood test. And I think older people would be very uncomfortable with this. The young generation, it would probably be okay. And I don't know if it's because it's expedient or because they don't know any better. I don't want to down anybody, but, the old people want a personal service, and the young people, they don't seem to care as much. And the doctor said today people really won't have a family doctor. They'll just see whoever's available. There's no connection between a person and their family doctor in the future.